Alrighty, good day everyone. So here we are, just about to jump back on the back of these little trains as all these guys pulling off. So this is the same bunch that we were on coming over the bridge on the last video. Just letting these guys go by now, and this is the rest of them that were coming past me. See what my boys wanted to do, whether we wanted to stay on or not. They decided yes, we'll stick on the back of them for this next effort, because it's about a 4k stretch the next bit. So we thought, okay, we'll jump back on. So up go the Watts, jump back on the back of this fast little train, and see what it's like sitting on the back of the pack. We're pretty much at the back now. There's probably around about 6 riders behind me. This is good fun. This is not for beginners though. Alright, if you're new to cycling, you don't want to be doing this. Now, don't forget, we don't know these riders, so I don't know how these riders roll, you know. You got to be careful when you're jumping on the back of these sorts of big groups. Oh, there they all are. Look, good fun. You got to be careful when you're jumping on the back of these big groups, because you don't know how these sort of different riders ride, you know. I mean, it could be the guy in front could be the sort of guy on the brakes, hitting the brakes hard, or he might weave around a little bit. You just don't know, so you've got to be a bit careful. You've got to stay, when you're riding in a group like this, a big pack, you've got to stay close enough to the rider behind, to his back wheel, where you're getting the draft, where you can obviously take it easy and you're in that slipstream. But you've got to give yourself enough room off the back, so as if they do weave around left or right a little bit, they're not going to knock your wheel, because obviously you touch wheels, you've had it, you're going to come off. And let's face it, at the end of the day, if the guy in front of me now, if he was to come off, I would literally have a split second to decide whether or not I go left or right, and the odds are pretty high chance that if he comes off, I'm coming off at the same time. And then obviously if I come off, the guys behind have got exactly the same scenario, and they're going to make the decision, and more than likely they're going to come off as well. So that's when you see a big pile up. So as much fun as this is, and it's great fun, as much fun as this is, it can be a little bit risky as well. So if you're new to cycling, don't jump on the back of these sorts of big groups until you've been riding for a while. You know, get some experience in there, just get a feel for your bike, you know, get an understanding of your bike, how it corners, and how your brakes feel and all the rest of it, you know. So just get used to your machine before you go playing about with this, unless of course you're starting out in a club. If you're just starting cycling, you're starting out in a club, that's different, you know. You get used to that pack mentality straight away. But if you've just been riding out on your own with a couple of mates or something, don't jump on the back of this till you've been riding for a while. But it is good fun. It is great fun when you're whipping along. You can pick a good average speed up when you jump on the back of these guys, you know, because they're hooning along a bit. I mean, they're popping along at about 40 k's an hour, you know, so they're keeping a nice steady pace, going the whole way. When I'm in a group like this, I'm always on the hoods. You see the guy on the left there, you see how his hands are on the hoods, just covering his brakes. That's how I ride in a group like this, just in case, you know, you've got to slam those brakes on, because anything can happen. You just don't know. It can just slow down real quick, and bang, you know, if you haven't got your hands over the brakes, if you're not covering them, you're going to run straight into the guy in front. So not a good option really. So make sure when you're doing something like this, you're not on the drops. You know, you don't want to be on the drops, and you don't want to be on the bars. You see all of them really, they're all on the hoods, with their 2 fingers there just covering the brakes, so as they're ready to just pull them on if they need it. Now obviously when you're doing this, you got to keep your eye on the road all the time. You're going to be listening out for guys telling you when it's slowing down, if there's bits and things, bits on the road, all the rest of it. You've got to tell the guys behind you what's going on. So there's a lot going on, but you've got to keep your eye on the road, which sounds obvious, but so many people that I see when I'm out riding when they're changing gear, they look down to see what gear they're in. Get used to not looking down to see what gear you're in. You don't need to see your gears. All you're going on is feel. If it feels good, you're going along okay, you want to put your cadence up a little bit, or move gear. But don't look down at your gears, especially when you're in this sort of situation, because it can happen in a split second. You know, it happens in a split second. Before you know it, the guy in front's brakes and you're touching his back wheel. So you've got to be real careful. There you go, situation just like that. See how quickly we have to stop there? So and it's because of that rider there. I think it was the rider on the left that we're just passing. They were on the island as the front runners obviously got there, so they slowed down to go around it. And that's what happens. You get that effect, and it runs through the whole pack. As far as getting up the front, generally when you're in a situation like this, you'd sit where you are, and as the riders up the front decide to drop off, you know, you might have some of the stronger riders up the front that can just hold it out, but if they do decide to drop off, obviously they'll slowly pull back, and you'll move your way up the pack and have your turn up the front. But again, if you're new to it, you would just still sit in your position. You wouldn't go up the front, you wouldn't do a turn up the front unless you felt you were comfortable enough to do it. But in general, you just sit in your position. For a stint like this for about 4Ks, you just stay where you are, you know, because it gets a little bit dangerous if you start doing the old overtaking, because then you're going 3 abreast, you're going around islands and things, so it's best to just stay in form. And if the guys at the front want the rest, well, they can start to drop off and let the other guys come up. Okay, that is it. So that's them gone now. They're off. They're going in a different direction to us. Hope you enjoyed it. You got any questions or comments, you know what to do, and I shall catch you on the next one.